Hello everybody, Skyfire here, and welcome to Overwatch. But today we're going to actually be doing what I wanted to do is the startup of a new series I want to create, mainly because I watch a lot of strategy guides online to help myself, but I see barely anything for consoles. So what I'm doing here is I want to try and help console players in their Overwatch pursuits, especially in helping them increase their competitive skill and their team and their abilities to work with their team, as well as um give as the best advice I can give for my own experience. I'm fairly good at some characters, but other characters I'm not. So even though I encourage you to focus on more than one character, and everyone's got their mains, everyone likes their mains and stuff like that, but remember, your main does not come before your team composition. What your team needs is what your team needs. Teamwork, we'll get into a lot more into teamwork later in the video, but right now I want to explain the rest of the stuff I want to go over in this video. Might be a lengthy video, I don't know. I'll try and edit it and make it not as crazily long. But anyway, what I want to do is pretty much encourage other players to. I know competitive has been toxic lately, and it's been all over the place. People have been levers, one-trick people. Well, I'm trying to help encourage the team building and team playing as a team, even though people like to stick to their mains and stuff. What I want to do is pretty much today give some basic advice and basic general things you can do to improve your game. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go over accuracy and crosshairs. We're going to use Soldier 76 as the first example because he's pretty much the easiest player to work with. I'm not going to go through all the heroes, but I'm going to show some examples on different spreads and different heroes and how I believe you should judge how you want to create your crosshairs, because people might not even know that you can actually in-game change what your crosshairs look like.
We're all soldiers now.
You can see the standard is this plus, which is actually, I like having this as the crosshair. I will show you the types of things you can do with the crosshair to improve either its visibility or effectiveness. Plus, you want to judge it yourself too. I'm not telling you to go off by what I go off. I'm just showing you how you can change it and give you some tips on what you should judge when adjusting your crosshairs.
Double kill.
Now, if you go into options and controls on console, it says all heroes. You want to actually select a specific hero. If you do all heroes, it will change the sensitivity and reticle crosshair type for every hero, and every hero has different spreads and stuff, and you don't want to do that. So make sure you always change all heroes to the hero you're working with, which I'm working with. There you are, soldier. Anyway, then you select soldier. It has a specific hero up on the top right. What you want to do is you can change the sensitivity for every hero, individual hero. So say you want a faster reaction, or you want slower to be a little bit more accurate on the headshots, then lower it a little bit. But make sure you always just play with a sensitivity that's comfortable with you. Just make sure it takes practice when you, especially I would just say focus on your mains first, get them down, because your main is obviously the person that you have the most time with, the most skills with, because you develop it over time. Yeah, all that stuff. Anyway, you go into advanced, you can see the aim assist, strength, all this, and all the other controls. I like to turn my vibration off because I feel like it messes with the controller. When the controller's vibrating, it messes with your hands. It might throw off your aim slightly. It might be slightly, but every bit helps. And then, okay, let's minimize that. Now, reticle is where the fun part happens. The reticle, you have the default one, which is the cross that I was using. You can go to crosshairs, have regular crosshair, advance. So you can have it show accuracy, which isn't too bad for soldier, because then you can know when you should tap the trigger instead of holding it down. You can increase the thickness by a little bit. I usually play on a 2, but you can play on whatever looks visually appealing to you and more comfortable for your eyes. Crosshair lengths can be adjusted when tracking enemies and how much tracking they need. When you have the show accuracy off, you can change the center gap. But for soldier, I would recommend keeping it on because then you know when you should tap your trigger to get people that are out of range. Opacity doesn't really matter. If you want to remove a dot completely, you pretty much can put the dot opacity all the way to 0. And the other thing you can do is change the color. Something that you can easily see when targeting enemies. I usually pick green. It seems to be the one that's the easiest to see, but like I said, if you're colorblind or you want to check other colors, just pick a color that you're comfortable looking at, pretty much. And that's pretty much it, like thickness, crosshair length. Center gap can only be changed when accuracy's off, and that. And dot size you can increase or decrease. So I'm gonna use not too big of a dot, so it's not as obscuring of the actual heads. Because enemy heads are way smaller than the robots in here. See, it changes it.
Double kill.
And that's that crosshair. Now I'll show you more of the other types of crosshairs that are already on the default, what they already give you. Let's see. Let's find a... So, oh yeah, let's go with Reaper. Well, actually, let's go with Roadhog because he's got a big circle. See, now he has a big circle, which pretty much gives you already the general spread of your weapon. However, like I said, if you want to just change the color or change the type, if you feel like a circle isn't as good as crosshair, then keep the then change crosshair. Remember to always, every time you go into the options to change your heroes crosshairs, it will automatically default to all heroes on the top. So make sure you always change what hero you're using, because if you don't, it could reset what you already changed. Like again, you can change the sensitivity if you need it high or low. But like I said, make sure you pick ones that you're comfortable with. Don't go with something outrageous unless you're actually comfortable with that. Let's see, because you can stick with the circle. Circle. You can have show accuracy, but that doesn't really matter, I don't think, as much. Well, I'll test it out then and see. Thickness of the circle, I'd rather keep it at a 2 or 1. Change its color to something you find visually appealing. And let's check it out. So the ring, yeah, the circle's big because it automatically compensates for accuracy. So I'm dealing with a big shot. The circle gives you some tracking capabilities, especially on bigger projectiles, like Roadhog's secondary fire. Yeah. So circle seems pretty good. Like I had it as a crosshair, but the circle seems like it actually reads better. Now let's go look at somebody else here who has another. Let's see. Tracer, Somber have interesting circles. They start off small, but pretty much as soon as you pull the trigger, the accuracy goes up. The ring showing the spread expands pretty much as soon as you start firing. So what you could do for this is just go and change her crosshair to not show the accuracy, and just have it as either a big circle or crosshair. Or what I actually use, which seems interesting, that it seems to work for me anyway. Like Tracer, I feel like I want to have her sensitivity up higher because so I could do circle, or what I used to do was crosshair, and what I did was keep show accuracy off. Increase the center gap to fit the circle. Keep the dot. You can do that way, keep the dot in the middle and keep it expanded, or you can do this which focuses your shots more when you're in close range, that the accuracy doesn't matter as much. The ring, the circle, doesn't matter as much because you're close enough that if the spread won't matter. The spread won't matter if you're close enough to attacking enemies, like with Tracer. And what you can do is remove the dot by getting rid of the dot opacity. Keeps crosshairs small. See, now it's a smaller crosshair. See, if you're in an enemy's face, the accuracy doesn't matter as much. But with like an SMG, you want to aim for the center mass of an enemy anyway, but close to their head. Rapid fire weapons obviously have that spread, so you get better at getting headshots if you focus in center mass but keep the top crosshair on the enemy. See, is there anyone else with unique cross? Here's one. McCree normally has the circle. You could kind of track enemies with this, because you kind of want to track enemies. However, his projectiles are pretty fast, so you can pretty much go without the circle. Like I'll show you here. And almost pick. Let's see, where are you? Have a decent sensitivity. You can either use a dot, or a small plus sign, which might be a little bit better. Just make sure the plus sign isn't too obscuring of your targets. You want to be able to track, even though you only need a tiny bit of tracking pretty much, because of the projectiles being a faster shot. What I do is I get rid of show accuracy. I lower the thickness. Have the crosshair length about like that. Remove the center gap. And remove the dot. Or you can just probably just lower the dot, yeah. There, as you have, so you have a small cross.
Double kill.
Then again, it's hard to show like exactly how effective this stuff is because these training bots have big hitboxes. Now, is there anyone else I need to think of? Guess that would be Widowmaker's sniper. Now, normally it's a circle and ADSing is a small cross. However, if you're in an Overwatch position where you're up high and you're looking high, or you have a longer sight line, I find it better to use. I'm not good with her. Don't let me kid you. I'm not really good as a sniper, but I know about tracking targets, so pretty much get rid of the center gap, increase the length so, to give you a good tracking point. Now you can track moving enemies easier with the longer lines. So if you're in the back line getting like steady shots, and that's pretty much the basics of it. Pretty much anyone with a circle like Genji's is good just to keep his default, but like I said, it's better. I prefer having a more visible color than just the white crosshair, because the green will match up against pretty much anything. It won't blend in. You can easily see it, and it's probably other colors as well. Circles, like ones with spread, can be used the same way as Roadhogs and Reapers would be, and Soldier soldiers is like I like using the regular crosshairs because it still feels right using it. Showing accuracy and all that stuff. Anything with like a circle or projectile like that. Sometimes crosshairs are better for people that need more tracking. People with slower projectiles. And you pretty much, if you work on your mains and see what crosshairs work the best with them, don't be afraid to experiment. Now on to the next topic. I kind of covered sensitivity settings. You can change the sensitivity settings for every individual hero. Just don't forget to change every time you go into options to change controls. It will default to all heroes, so make sure you change to the hero you're working with. Okay, you can change the specific sensitivity for each character you use. That concludes this accuracy part. And then the next part is going to be mostly based on all the team working aspects, some tips for team working, and other things like that. So,